Hi there, Ford owners. Today in your 2013 Ford Focus, we're going to be taking a look at and showing you how to install CURT's 1 1/4 inch trailer hitch receiver. This is a Class 1 1 1/4 by 1 1/4 inch receiver, and here you can see it installed in our Focus. The cross tube is going to be hidden behind the bumper, so you're only going to notice the receiver here at the back. It uses a 1/2 inch hitch pin and clip. One doesn't come included with it, but we have plenty available here at etrailer.com that you can pick up with your order. On bottom, we have hoop-style safety chain loops with a pretty large opening that should accommodate just about every shape, size, and style of safety chain. It features a 200-pound tongue weight, which is the force going down on top of our receiver. That's going to be enough for a 2-bike platform rack loaded up with a couple of bikes. It also features a 2,000-pound gross towing capacity, which is how much it can pull behind it. So if you've got a small utility trailer that you want to haul just a few things around with, or maybe a dirt bike or two, you should be able to handle that with this hitch with no problem. As always, I recommend you verify in your vehicle's owner's manual and ensure you don't exceed any of its towing capacities. Now I've got some measurements for you when deciding on accessories. From the center of the hitch pin hole to the edge of our rear bumper, it measures about 3.5 inches. This is important when determining if any of your folding accessories can be placed in the upright storage position without contacting the bumper. And from the ground to the top inside edge of the receiver tube, it measures about 11.5 inches. This is important when determining if you need to drop, a rise, or a raise shank on any of your accessories. And since it is so low, I do recommend a raise shank on your accessories. Now that we've gone over some of the features, let's go over the installation together so you can have the confidence to do it at home. We'll begin our installation by removing the exhaust hangers on each side. There's 2 bolts that you'll need to remove using a 13mm socket. And we'll do the same thing over on the other side. We can then take our hitch and we're going to slide it up into position. We're going to line up the holes in the hitch with the holes in the bottom of the frame that we just took out, and then we're going to use those factory bolts and just thread them right back in there, because we're going to be using our hitch now as a template to drill out some holes. And we're going to go ahead and tighten them down. We've put all 4 bolts back in, and this will just ensure that we are definitely in the right spot to drill out for our last hole. We don't need to tighten them crazy, just to hold it up against the bottom of the frame. We can now just mark our spot in the center of the slotted hole here that we'll need to drill out for our new hardware. I'm just going to use a 1/4 inch drill bit to make a little pilot hole. Now that we got the pilot hole drilled out, or you could just mark it with a paint stick, it really doesn't matter which. You can take your hitch back down so we can finish drilling. We'll now need to enlarge these holes using a 1/2 inch drill bit. You may or may not need to bend some of the heat shield out of the way when drilling this out. We'll now need to take the slotted hole in the bottom of the frame and enlarge it a little bit to be able to get our hardware to slide in. You can do this with a Dremel or a file. We just need to kind of put a little slot in it for the bolt to pass through. We can now fish wire in our hardware. We're going to take the coiled wire that comes in our kit. We're going to push through the hole that we had drilled out. We're going to bring it back to the hole that we enlarged slightly. And we're going to drop it back down through that hole. We'll then slide our spacer on that comes in our kit. And then thread the carriage bolt onto the coiled end. Push the spacer up into the frame, as well as the carriage bolt. And then you can pull your fish wire back down, dropping your bolt down in place. We'll now prep our hardware. Each bolt that comes in your kit, we're going to take a conical tooth washer, slide it on it with the teeth facing away from the head of the bolt. We'll have a total of 4 prepared when we're done. We can now put our hitch back into position. This time we need to make sure we feed our coiled wires down through the slotted holes that we'd used as our template. Pull our coiled wires off and loosely thread on the flange nuts that come in our kit. And once we get one started on each side, the hitch will hold itself up, making it easier to install the rest of our hardware. We can now go to raise our exhaust back into position. And instead of using our factory bolts to re-secure it, we're going to be using the new hardware that we prepared. And just start those right into the bottom of the frame. We're going to repeat that for the 3 remaining bolts. We can then go back and tighten down our hardware. We'll use our 13mm socket for the small bolts and a 17mm socket for our larger bolts. Your exhaust might be in the way on some of them, so you may need an extension or something to get on there. And then we can go back and torque our hardware to the specifications found in our instructions. With all of our bolts torqued down, we're ready to load up our hitch with our favorite accessory and hit the road. And that completes our installation of CURT's 1 1/4 inch trailer hitch receiver on our 2013 Ford Focus.